So good day, everybody, and welcome to today's Business Spotlight. Today, we have the pleasure of JP Hilliard from WKN Real Estate Advisors. JP, you're very welcome.
Morning, Tom. Thanks very much.
Fantastic. For a change, it's not raining. And here we are coming into the quarter four beginning. Well, not quite quarter four, the end of quarter three. So tell us, and tell our viewers here, what is it that you guys do and how long have you been doing it?
Okay, Tom. So I am a director and co-founder of WKN Real Estate Advisors. So our company is approximately 4 years old. It has come out of and has originated from a company called WK Nolan, which was established in 1996. In 2019, myself and my colleague John McNally, we undertook a management buyout of WK Nolan, and within a year we renamed the business WKN just to simplify matters. So in terms of who we are and what we do, so we are a professional services real estate company. We're an SME in the true sense of the word. We employ 10 to 12 permanent people and a number of consultants, external consultants. We would consider ourselves a solution-focused company, trying to solve issues and challenges for our client base. We are ISO triple accredited, and our client base would consist of a fairly varied base of industry personnel, from developers to investors to funds to pillar banks, alternative lenders, main contractors and design teams. So we span the full life cycle of construction and development. And in terms of service lines, to simplify matters, we provide advisory services across construction, development, valuations, and asset management. So they're the four key pillars of services within WKN that we offer.
So it's mainly the kind of the larger pillars, the banks, the engineering companies and stuff that you'd be dealing with in general.
Yeah, it is, Tom, but like, some of our projects will be quite small value as well. So, some of our projects may only be maybe, there might be a small estate in Drogheda of, 15 or 20 houses where we have, say, a project management function, right up to, a 90 million pound commercial development in Grand Canal. So, we're not that, we do have smaller projects, we have larger projects, and we have everything in between.
Fantastic. So you're fitting into a wider audience there. So what would you say the most important thing that attributed to your growth since you've taken it over?
Yeah, so just to go back a minute. So when myself and John carried out the management buyout, there was the company was quite bigger than it is currently. However, we previously offered service lines that myself and John were not particularly expert in. So immediately after we carried out the management buyout, we reduced one or two of the service lines. We rationalized the business. Some people moved on to pastures new. So I suppose, in fact, what I'm saying is we got smaller to get bigger. So that probably took about 18 months, 2 years to sort of downsize or right size. And it's probably only in the last 2 years or 2.5 years that we've started to sort of grow in the way and in the direction that myself and John want the business to grow. Now, obviously, in the meantime, COVID came along, which wasn't part of our business plan. But look, in construction and development, you've got to be agile, you've got to be resilient, you've got to be flexible, you have to roll with the punches and just get on with it. So thankfully, we survived COVID well.
And well done. On COVID, that's an interesting one. A lot of people had to make a lot of changes during that period. So were there some habits that you changed forever because of COVID?
Well, I suppose the first thing about COVID is, as a business, we had never really embraced virtual meetings. It just wasn't part of our DNA. Like we're used to going to site meetings, sitting inside cabins, winter, summer, or maybe in the odd time we get to go to a nice bank and sit in a nice boardroom. But managing projects via virtually virtual meetings was a real challenge. However, we embraced it very quickly. Because, to be honest, as a business, a large part of what we do involves managing teams via, communications forums like meetings, etc. So if we couldn't manage meetings and hold them, obviously our fee income would be at risk. So we had to pivot quite quickly. So we still to a certain extent carry out remote meetings on certain projects. So that is a change in where we thought the business was going to go 2 or 3 years ago. But I think the market is somewhat in flux at the moment, very much as to how people are working. Are they working hybrid? Are they working fully remotely? Can you get everybody into a meeting in person, or will some people dial in? That in itself is a big challenge. So
Right.
I don't mind a fully remote meeting, or I don't mind a full in-person meeting. It's the hybrid where you have people in a meeting and you have people dialing in can be a bit difficult.
I'd agree with you there, I have to say. So yeah, but I think COVID has kind of accelerated change hugely for most of us. And I kind of like it because it's made us all think a little bit differently about, oh, look, we used to do this, now there's an option here. And as you say, it depends on the project you're dealing with at the time, and you can vary your response correctly. So tell me, what would you say the biggest learning you've had since you've become a business owner?
Yeah, I'd say in a word, it's all about the staff. It's not about yourself or your colleague being the directors and the co-founders and the shareholders. Like the company is nothing without our staff. And I've learned that. I wouldn't say the hard way, but I've certainly learned that very much over the last 4 years. It's all about the staff, communicating properly with them, bringing them on the journey, trying to listen to their issues and balancing that with the company challenges as well. So it's really all about the staff, and whether you like that or not, that is the case. So you just have to deal with it and get on with it.
I think it's so true, and it's amazing for a lot of people. And I was one of these people. We didn't think about our team enough back in the day, and now it's so important to have a strong culture within the business. So tell me, JP, then, with the demands of running your business and all, and you've got a family you mentioned earlier on, how do you manage to get that balance between work life?
It's difficult, I have to say. Even moving from being a director to being a shareholder is a big leap, is a big jump. I've always worked hard throughout my career. Like, I've always tried to catch up the weekends or get ahead, even when I was, just a project manager or just an engineer. That hasn't changed. So some people might say that's a bad habit. I don't know. It's just me. So I do a lot of hours during the week. Most weekends I do some amount of work, but at the same time, I do value my family. I am big into sports. My family is big into sport. So sport keeps me sane, helps my mind stay clear, relatively speaking. So I do try and get some sort of balance between work, family life, and sport as well. And the sport is, not just for the family, but it's for me as well, because I've certainly learned over the years that the fitter I stay, the fitter my mind is, and the better I can actually perform. So I've certainly learned that over the last number of years.
And there's a great correlation between sport and business, about what you have to do in order to do what you want to do, what you want to have, etc. So yes. I think sport, for those of us who do partake in sport, even if it's just on the sidelines, it's a wonderful way of learning things that you should do in life as well. So I think it's great to have that outside interest, which is fantastic. So tell me, if you are employing people now, the type of people you're employing, what sort of qualities would be high in your list?
Yeah, so there's probably two tranches of employees we look for. There's probably the lower end, the graduates, or let's say the 22 to 28-year-olds, where they're either a graduate or they're a graduate with a couple of years experience. Those people we probably look for just an eagerness to learn, a good attitude. It's all about a good attitude. If they have a good attitude to learn, we can work with that. I'm not overly concerned about maybe what their degree is in, how well they did in their degree. But if they have a good attitude and they've shown a reasonably good work ethic to date in terms of part-time jobs, that's important at that level. The more senior people, anywhere from maybe 35 upwards in terms of age, a lot of it is about communication. So are they a good communicator? So not just in terms of emails, but can they actually listen to what you're asking them to do? So active listening, I would see, is a huge trait in people who believe their experience and who want to achieve. So the ability to be a good communicator is probably my number one trait I look for in senior people. I assume they've got the technical expertise because they're senior, so that's taken for granted. it's all about the soft skills, you know, it really is. And that's ultimately what I think being, you know, a good business manager or business leader comes down to: good soft skills, you know.
So leadership, a lot of people get mixed up between the leader and the boss, but a leader has got to have good soft skills. I think that's very, very important. So tell me, one of the last couple of questions here for you. Where do you see the future of WKN? So if I put you 5 years forward, where would you see yourselves?
Yeah, so I think as a business, we're probably going to get steadily larger. Like we're still quite small, but you know we've gone from the sort of the norming stage of the business model to hopefully the sort of storming stage in the next 5 years. In terms of sectors that we're working in, sustainability is very big for us. We're a member of the Irish Green Building Council. We just this week we're about to start a very significant sustainability project in Ireland for a pharmaceutical company. That's a big win for ourselves. We'll publicize it in the coming weeks. So as a business, we have a resilient business model. It's served us well to date. We're going to keep that model going forward in terms of the various pillar of services that we offer. However, you know, the whole area of the green economy and sustainability is an area that we feel we can embrace, we can offer something into. And I'd like to see over the next 10 years, a lot more work in sustainability and a continued presence in the residential market in Ireland, which we do a lot of work in as well.
I have to say that there's a lot of clients I would work with as well who want to get their green credentials moved up the scale a little bit. Sustainability, green carbon footprint, all this sort of stuff. So there's a lot of interest in that area now. And I think in the future, if you don't have some credentials in those areas, people might say, can we be seen to do business with these guys because they don't have anything here? So I think your point is well made there. So last question. What advice would you give to an 18-year-old JP?
Go for it. Absolutely go for it. Go for your dreams, you know, business wise, sport wise, just go for it, because it probably sounds very cliched, but you know, the years do go by very quickly. You know, I'm entering my 50th year now next year. 30 years have gone. Very glad that this opportunity to do the management buyout came my way a few years ago by chance. It wasn't planned, came by chance. I grasped it. So any advice to young people is just go for it, and be really ambitious and motivated, and more than likely you'll probably succeed. You know.
Fantastic. And lastly, if somebody wanted to contact you just to have a conversation about a particular, could be a smaller project, as you mentioned earlier on, or indeed a large one, what would be the best means of getting in touch with JP?
Yeah, so we redid our website there last year. So wkn.ie, all our contact details are on there, and our various service lines and projects that we've worked on. We have a strong presence on LinkedIn, both myself personally and the business. So if you can't catch us on our website, we're definitely available on LinkedIn, you know, all day, every day. So please do contact us. No job is too small. So we're not all about the high profile projects. They're great, but you know, we've built up a very strong client base from some very small projects, and we just grow with clients.
JP, thank you so much indeed. So folks, you've heard it all here, so don't be afraid to ring up and have a conversation with JP if you need just to have a conversation about potential projects coming up. Thank you very much indeed, and I wish you every success. And of course, don't forget, this video will be posted on your social media very soon, please God. Thank you so much indeed, JP. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.